We are live at Jasper's in West End. We got people filtering in over here. We still have just maybe a few spots left. Ryan, 2 wide receivers, offensive tackle went off the board. I have to say I was mistaken. Not wrong. I was just mistaken when I said that 2 wide receivers would not go off the board. So, in saying that, we had Jamar Chase going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, off air, we discussed that maybe that's not the right move because don't you need to build around? Now you've started this bad trend, twofold. Started this bad trend of listening to your quarterback and let him dictate personnel decisions, and number 2, you're not protecting him.
So you've got the chemistry that you know is there because this is the quarterback who this receiver played with in college. But it's baffling in this day and age when you just had your quarterback who you drafted to be your franchise, to be your guy for the next 10 plus years, who got injured in a game. So now he's had the injury, he's had the shortened season. You would think you would want to do all you can, especially this year when the tackle class, and maybe this plays into it too, because tackle class is great. It's also deep. So maybe they're thinking they can pick up a quality guy later on. Because I think I said it on our coaches' corner this week as well that typically you want to try to target a tackle in the first few rounds for them to be a starter and a producer. This year's a little different because that pushes back a little bit. So maybe they're thinking they can grab a guy next with that draft. But there's definitely some chemistry there. So you also want to keep your franchise quarterback happy for sure.
Right. Okay, so then let's go to Miami Dolphins. They draft Jalen Waddle, the next number 2 wide receiver, arguably off the board. Basically, they're telling Tua, no excuses, right, in year 2? I mean, you got Devontae Parker, you have Will Fuller, you have Jalen Waddle, you have Jakeem Grant, and then you also have Preston Williams.
Right.
I mean, Mike Gesicki's there too. No excuses for Tua going into year 2. And, I mean, again, they just traded away their right tackle. They need a right tackle. What's the play here? I mean, is that the right move again?
So maybe they're taking a page out of the Chiefs' book where even though the Chiefs had some decent tackles, a lot of times just being able to move the ball down the field helps. I get it if your quarterback is being sacked a lot, but there's ways around that through coaching that you can help that situation out. My question is whether Tua is going to be smart enough. And like you said in the last time, I don't know if this went out on air, if we were muted or not, but we're both Bama fans. Yeah. I actually don't have as high opinion on Tua as most people do. So, but this is it. It's put up or shut up time for him. Again, like we just said with Cincinnati, this is a guy you have chemistry with. You should know how to work with him. You're getting a nice little toy for your quarterback again when you could have protected him a little more as well. So that's 2 interesting picks in a row from teams that also need tackle, going with receiver with dynamic playmakers that are going to make a difference early. And maybe that was the tipping point. Keep your quarterbacks happy on the surface and then figure out how to protect them through scheme.
Well, speaking of a surprise pick, we got one with Carolina, but let's real quick talk about Detroit.
Okay.
They went Penei Sewell, tackle out of Oregon. Again, they have a lot of needs. They went the opposite direction, though, and passed on wide receiver, even though they don't have Kenny Golladay. They don't have Marvin Jones. Now, this front office comes from the Rams front office where they don't spend high picks on wide receivers. So, maybe this was a little bit of a surprise, but Sewell falls to them. They were super excited.
Yeah.
I mean, great. With Frank Ragnow already there, this seems like a good pick to protect Jared Goff, but is Jared Goff worth protecting?
That's an interesting way to put that for sure, but they definitely think he is because they traded a proven quarterback away for him. So they definitely think highly of Goff. Now the question, like you just said, is maybe they think they're smart enough. They come from an offense that was able to manufacture some things. Maybe they can put together some pieces for him. Again, we just said the tackle draft, this tackle group is deep. This receiver group is deep as well. So who knows what they can get later on. So with Detroit taking Sewell, he's the best tackle in the draft. He was a do-it-all. He's going to be a starter right away. He's going to maybe even challenge for the Pro Bowl right away. I mean, he's that good. So the decision's easy there. You just invested some draft capital and some going out and getting rid of a guy, bringing in Goff. Why not protect him? But again, that goes against the 2 picks before that where they went away from that. So definitely Detroit going a different way, but they were happy because I guarantee that reaction you saw in draft, they didn't think Sewell was going to be there.
Yeah. I mean, you would be a little bit surprised. So, okay, speaking of surprises.
Okay.
Who do you think Carolina drafted while we were discussing Jalen Waddle?
Devontae Smith.
They drafted J.C. Horn. Surprisingly enough, that's who they drafted. So the first cornerback to come off the board is J.C. Horn over Patrick Surtain. Not surprised. Over Caleb Farley.
Well,
Not surprised. But here you got Dallas coming up. They want a cornerback. That's the move that it could shape the rest of the draft. You're talking about they got Sam Darnold, and they could have had Justin Fields. They could have had Mac Jones, and they passed on both of them.
right.
What do you make of this move?
Well, they clearly think they've got what they're looking for in Sam Darnold, so they don't want to try to start over. They want to give him a chance, and that's what the risk you run when you're going after a guy. Hey, it works out for certain teams. Titans come to mind when you're taking a chance on a quarterback to bring him in. Titans were in a bit of a different situation because they had an entrenched starter in Mariota and those kind of things. But now you take that, you get Darnold to come in, you're counting on him to be better than what he was, saying it's the environment, not the player. So now you're going to try to do that. So that's what they're hoping they get out of Darnold by going away from some of those other needs and strengthening their defense with the pick.
Well, we'll come back after a few more picks. We thank you all for sticking with us. We're actually going to try something different. We want to make sure that we get a lot of people on here. We are going to end the stream, then restream it back up. So make sure you have those notifications on. Let me tell you this. If you are within driving distance to make it to Jaspers and West End, this is the time to come. We got a few spots left. We had people just walk in right now, and we got free appetizers. We do have, maybe I'll buy you a beer if you come on in. I mean, that's important, right? I mean, I think that's important.
The food's
come
amazing.
Get you
Can't say that
the
enough.
best burger that Ryan has had in a long, long time here at Jaspers in Nashville and West End. This is a 440 Sports and Broadway Sports Media production. We will be back after a few more picks. Before we go, Denver's on the clock. Are they picking or are they trading for Aaron Rodgers?
Everything out of Green Bay is not trading, so I think they're picking here.
All right, so that's what we're going to do. We'll see who they pick. They may even surprise everybody and pick a quarterback, which would also send this into a tailspin. But we'll come back and discuss that later.